So the weekend's upon you. You've decided that you're going to actually start working on that great novel of yours. But what software are you going to use, and how are you going to set up the manuscript once you start? Well, come back in a couple of seconds and I'll show you how you can do that. Welcome to the Drunk Linux User. I'm Len. I am the Drunk Linux User. This is going to be a two-parter. First part here is going to be about using LibreOffice to help you out in getting your manuscript set up. The second video is going to be about using SoftMaker's free Office. They're both free. They both can do what you need to do, but everybody seems to start off with their distribution using LibreOffice, so I thought I'd start with that one first. So go ahead and get that launched, and just got to move over here, and here we go. This is how I have LibreOffice set up. What I do normally is I come over to Options, and I make sure that when I am looking at what I have set up for my actual page here, it kind of looks like this. I use the standard icon styles, but what I do change is down here under the LibreOffice Writer settings. And what I'll do is I'll go to View, and I'll select Vertical Ruler and Smooth Scroll. That just simply helps me out. I'll show you in just a couple seconds why I use that left-hand ruler. Also, under Basic Fonts, I change everything over from Liberation over to Times New Roman, because that's what your agents and your publishing houses are looking for to begin with. So we just click Apply, click OK, and with LibreOffice, we're going to start off with something called a title page. And we're just going to go ahead and just set this up right here, right now, for the first page. And then we're going to come over to Layout, Page Margins, and the best way to do this is just come down to Custom and start typing the number 1 followed by a dot. So 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. This is industry standard. I haven't found much different in this regard. So now our manuscript page, our title page for our manuscript, is all set up with 1 inch margins all the way around, which is awesome. All right, so we're getting started here. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to set up your contact information. They want to know who submitted it, where you live, how to get in touch with you. So you're going to put your name here. You're going to put your address here. You're going to put your city, state, and zip right here. Okay, so what do we do next? We put in your phone number. And this is perfectly acceptable. Your email address. You'll see that this is set up so that if you control click, it'll bring up the email client of your choice. But if you're just sending paper and not a file in the mail, you might want to consider removing the hyperlink. So you click on that line, you right click on that line, and you select Remove Hyperlink, and that makes the text look like everything else. There are a couple schools of thought now on this next part, and that is going to be on your approximate word count. By doing that, we can do something really cool. There's also another, I guess it's acceptable way, but this is the way that I know and the way I use it. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in the ruler at the top. Okay, and right now you're going to see that there are a couple of points in here where a tab has been set up. I just did that by double clicking. I want to delete all, and then in its place I want to put 6.5. That's going to default to 6.5 inches. I don't want it to be left justified. I want it to be right justified, and then I'm going to click OK. So what that does now is that puts a right justified margin at that tab. So from my name, I'm just going to go tab, and you can see that the cursor went all the way over to the right, and I'm going to start typing approximately, we'll just make it 100,000 words. And just use your arrow key to move down. That's what you need to do at the top. It's not all that difficult, just takes a couple seconds to get set up. Now remember, this is your title page. And a title page, you're going to want to put the name of your manuscript approximately a third to about halfway down the page. I'd suggest around a third. So if we know that our page is going to be set up in US letter format at 11 inches, then you subtract an inch from the top and an inch from the bottom, and that leaves you 9 inches, right? Okay, so a third of 9 is 3 inches. From this point down, we're just going to hit the return key until we get down to the number 3. And I'm going to need, this is the part that really sucks when you start getting old. I need my glasses. So you get down to around 3. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see it's approximately a third of the way down the page. And we're going to go back over to the home section, hit center. And if you're using a different layout, instead of using tabs, you're using the drop-down menus. It's the same kind of thing. And we're just going to go ahead and type in my masterpiece. Okay, that's going to be the title. Come down 2 spaces and you type in by : space, and it's going to be your name. The other way that you can put approximately how many words are in there is by dropping down another, say, drop down 2 spaces, and instead of using approximately up at the top, you can put approximately underneath your name. I don't see that very often when I'm looking at what a publisher or an agent is looking for, so I usually keep it up at the top and leave it alone. So we have our title page. That is it. Now we have to start looking at what are we going to do from here on. So from here, we're going to go to the Insert menu, and we're going to go to Page Break. Now, on this page break, you're going to notice that the margins are, again, set to the default. We're going to change that. We're going to go to Layout again, Margins, and we're just going to change it over to 1 inch. So 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, and now we're looking good. We're going to set up something called a header. And by doing this, we're going to go into default header style, which is fine. This is how we're going to get things started. Okay, we're just going to do some minor tweaking after this, and you don't have to worry about it through the rest of the setup. We're going to go to Write Justified. We're going to start typing your last name. So I'm just going to put your name would be name. Okay, I do space followed by a slash followed by a space. I'm going to put in an abbreviated form of my title, so masterpiece, space, slash, space. Now comes the fun part. I type in the word page and a space. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Insert, and I'm going to go into Field, and I'm going to put in page number. Bada bing, there we go. Except we have a problem. We don't want page 2 to show up as page 2. We want page 2 to show up as page 1. So how to do? Come back over to your title page and go to this little prompt up here again for title page. You're going to set page number, reset page numbering after title page. So you want this to be 1. Page number, reset page numbering after title page. And you're going to click OK. When you scroll down now, you see your page number is 1. If I put in another, for example, page break, you're going to see that the header is going to show page 2, and it's going to go on and on and on and on and on. All right. So we can click back down into the body of our text. We can go to Home, go to the third of the way down the page again, so right around the 3-inch mark right there, and we're going to type in, make sure I do this in caps, chapter 1. Now I use numerics. I don't spell out 1, because if you decide that you're going to start using things like the styles and whatnot, and you want to create a table of contents, this just kind of makes it a little bit better. So now that we've got chapter 1, we're going to double space, and then we're going to have some fun. We're going to right click into the document, we're going to go to paragraph, and when this pops up, we're going to go to indents and spacing. First line is just going to be 1/2 inch indented, okay? It'll keep doing that until you make a change. Line spacing is going to be double space, and you click OK. Now, because I had this centered and not to the left, it didn't actually work the way I wanted it to. You got to kind of pay attention to what you're doing. So we're going to go back over, just kind of give you an idea of what we're doing here. First line, 1/2 inch indentation is set for double, click OK. You can kind of see right here that the first line of your masterpiece is dented. Always, always, always make sure that your automatic spell checking is turned on as well. You can see that anything that it doesn't recognize is going to have a red squiggle underneath, just like Word. And anything that might be considered a grammatical problem, for example, typing 2 spaces instead of just 1, usually is going to show a little blue squiggly in there. So that's going to show you that there is a grammatical error in your line in some way or another. So if you just erase that extra, you're doing good. So let's see. From there, we're just going to type a little bit, and you can see that as I'm typing, the next line that comes down is justified to the left like it's supposed to be. When I hit return, we're indented for our next paragraph. Easy, right? All right, now this is where you are going to have to reset things if you want to play with certain scene changes. For example, we want to indicate that there's going to be a scene change. What you normally do is you put down 3 asterisks. Well, if I go to the middle of the page right now, it's going to be offset. For example, let me show you here. It's going to be offset from the middle. You can tell from chapter 1 that this is the middle. If I start putting in asterisks right there, it's not going to look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over. It's at left justified. So this is what it would look like. You're down here on our next line, and you're just going to hit backspace once. That brings you all the way over to the left justification again. Hit center, and then you can put in your 3 asterisks that indicate that you're starting a new scene. Only problem is that you have to go back into paragraph, and you have to reset this back up for 5 or 1/2 inch. Click OK, and again, remember that you need to be justified to the left. And then start typing more. Okay, that's part of what you can do here with this. The other part is, depending on the program, and I'm hoping it's going to work with this, there are something called M dashes. So if you want to create an M dash in LibreOffice, you make a colon, minus, minus, colon, and there you go. That is your M dash right there. This would be an N dash. It's just a single minus sign, but if you want that N dash, it's right here. All right, so there's a couple things that we can show you about that. Now, you want to start each chapter with a page break. So no matter how far you're into the next page, if it's only like a paragraph or something like that, you still want to come back up and insert a page break. So now you're at, for example, well, we've got page 3 going here. Well, that's fine. You're just going to do the same thing. You're just going to come back over to the full left. You're going to go to home, center, and then come on down to about the 3-inch mark on your ruler on the left hand side, chapter whatever, and move on from there. Type, 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 type until you're done. Speaking of when you're done, okay, in the center of the page, we want to make sure that we are actually at the center of the page. I think I just went a little too far. Okay, so we are in the center. All right, when you're done with your book in caps, you can type the end or just end. That signifies that you're done with your manuscript. When you're done with this thing, you want to come over to File. You want to do Save As. You want to come over to, let's just put it over to our desktop for just a moment. And we're going to call it name hyphen masterpiece, and then I put in the date that it has been submitted, and you can change this at any time. So what I would do today, for example, is 1, and I would use a hyphen, don't use slashes, 1-21-2022. And then I want to come down on the lower right hand side, and I want to pick Word 2007-365, which is a .docx file, and we're going to save it. Publishers and agents prefer to use the Microsoft Word format. They use it. It could be on a Mac, it could be on a PC, but we need, as Linux users, to comply with what they want, not what we think they should have. They will utilize the changes tracking system, and so can you, to find out what's been altered since the last time they've sent it back and said, hey, this is really good, but you might want to tweak this paragraph, kill this character sucks, rewrite them, that kind of stuff. They can see where you were and where you've gone to. This is a way of being able to track progress, and it's very important that they have that ability to do so. All right, so we have used LibreOffice. We are creating our masterpiece. You can also do something else as well. You can actually, from here, do Save As, and you can go to Home and Templates and save this as Manuscript Novel Template. Come out down to the right hand side again, lower right hand side, and you want to put this down as a Word 2007-365 template or a .docx. Save it. Now, when you go to your templates folder, you're going to see that there are all kinds of things in here that I've been testing with and playing with, and so our manuscript novel template.x is there. Show you what will happen. You open up LibreOffice, you can go to File, you can go to Open. As soon as you get up there, go to Templates, Open, or you can go to Master Document or whatever. So you go to Templates, and Manuscript is right there. Open it. There you go. There you go. It's all there, just as we had it. You can fill in the blanks from here, and you can change the title. You can change it. You just, when you're done with any changes for that, you're just going to do a Save As. Remember to save it as a .x for your agent or your publisher, and that should work just fine. All right, so got to change over here. I found that a lot of the hotkeys that I used for OBS actually started typing and changing things in LibreOffice, so I had to kind of move things back over here. So that's part one. We're using LibreOffice. You're making a manuscript for your latest, greatest book. I'm closing that out, and I hope this helps. Drop some notes if you've been using LibreOffice and maybe you do it a different way. If you've got some better pointers, please let me know. But this is the way I know how to work it. It's not that hard. And like I said, once I set up a template, I just basically go back in and use it again and again. So let's remember our words of wisdom, folks. Don't drive drunk. Don't Don't drink and drive. Don't go to Amazon, eBay, or use Microsoft Edge all buzzed up thinking you're going to buy the coolest stuff because you're probably not. In the meantime, bottoms up. Later, dudes.